Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Bitcoin playing with 68,000, getting a bit of a dump here with negative news on the data. Not looking good. We'll break it down. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Let's put the lemon into the water, boys and girls. The first thing we're going to do and decalcify that pineal gland, get yourself on another level. That's how I got to Bitcoin in the first place. I'm going to tell you some stories today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to break it down. Put a little salt in there, get that lemon water going, get it cooking. Let's get that music back up and running. Johnny in the spot. There he is. Yeah, we got rid of Timmy. We got Johnny now. But that's what happens, man. Nobody stays forever. But Johnny's great. I really appreciate you, Johnny. He's new here in the studio. He's been doing amazing. And I appreciate you, Johnny. It's so nice. What did you say? My breath smells? I don't know. I don't take a mint. Dang, man. In front of everyone, you got to say that? Jeez. I thought I wasn't too bad today, but I guess you got to hear me talk all the... Oh my God. There's nobody in here. I didn't choke. It was all just, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, everything's fine. Oh, this icing on the cake. My wife asked me if I was all right. I'm always going to be the class clown. I'm never going to stop. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here. I'm just always playing games. So yeah, it's not too funny, right? 68,650 for Bitcoin. So let's see what happens here. My wife dressed me again today. She picked out the outfit. Shout out to BB. Nice job, BB. You did great. They're loving it. Everyone says it looks amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Welcome to the Crypto Live Show. We're going to start with BTC. I got into a long, and then I skipped out with about a $200 loss. I didn't like it. Then it bounced around. Now we're in some chop, and it's feeling more like a Monday than a Tuesday, I'll tell you that. And if we're going to get out of here, it's going to be something like this. It looks like this is just an elongated, choppy area here where they're just going to kind of drain you. You know what I mean? And this could take some time. This could take some time, folks. That could be a nice, long sideway, and then they could still hunt us. You know what I mean? So we're going to take it one step at a time. I can identify a possible move here back to the top of the range. That's what we're looking for. That's like the likely scenario, but how to get in and out of that is difficult, and how to maneuver it without sitting there, and how to handle. The key is trading is tougher than it used to be because you got to wait a little longer because you don't have the volume. So even though it is a Tuesday, things are going, you got to wait a little longer to get your move. Like the other day, yesterday's trade, I opened in front of you guys here on the live. It played out. It made money, but it took all day. And it didn't really go to where you'd love it to go, but it made it, So we're looking for this falling wedge to bounce back to the upside. You know what I mean? It's not fun. It's not amazing, but like this is just what we're looking for. You're very oversold here, attempting to get the bounce, right? And you can just kind of see with this type movie, can you get back in there? So, not a fan. I'm not saying this is a great trade. I think it's actually a pretty whack trade because you can't, for me, you're going to the 200 moving average, and then the stop's got to be there. I guess, wow, you can get a 3-to-1 out of it. I didn't think so. So there's a possible entry here on the 1 hour with the stop below this red wick, right? We'll see if this candle can close green next to this candle. You know what I mean? But it's not amazing. So that's what I see as a potential grab today. And then you hold it for 6 to 7 hours, 8 hours, and you get back here to the, and you get the move. Otherwise, it could just roll over too. It hasn't been amazing. It was looking like we were going to dump. And Bookmap even suggests that we got more liquidity to the downside than to the upside. Look, it's got all this down here all the way to 65,000. You can see. So if we go anywhere, it says we're going to go to 65K. That's the biggest and scariest area. Look, can I hang on it? Anyway, let's get back to brass tacks. But, that's good. So this is what I see happening. That's like the possible trade. And it would look like it was going to happen earlier. We closed the tweezer bottom here. We had a green candle. I got in there. We pumped. I was in the money. Next thing you know, it turned green in 2 seconds. I'm putting my tie on. They took a massive dip. They stopped anybody that went long. You could see this, right? They just wicked out this entire spot. And then instead of buying the wick, I usually just wait for this candle. Right now you could front run it yet again, but it would be my second entry of the day. And if I get hit off on that one, I'm done. I'm done for the day. You know what I mean? I'm not going to like. And so this would be the entry again with the stop below this wick now. And that would be the move back to the upside. So that's what I'm looking to do, but I haven't done it just yet. Something's got me just, you know, something's telling me today is just not my day to trade. You know, sometimes you just can feel it. And I got another, there's also something that doesn't look amazing here too, is like, look at this 30-minute. And the 30-minute looks like it's in Bear City in a descending triangle that doesn't want to take us, you know. Yet today they inject billions of dollars into the market. Let's talk about it. And that's why you want to follow me on X.com. I'm not just out there saying whatevers. I'm having fun. We're joking around, but look, you can see me here. And thank you for the comments. Honestly, when you make a video and someone says, why do you look 5 years younger? You are reverse aging. I mean, that's amazing. Thank you. You know, that's what happens when you move to Florida. Florida will reverse age you. Like, I spent 2 years now, and every day's been beautiful. Instead of in the cold winter where I had to fight my way every day. And anyway, point of this is just look at this tweet here. The Federal Reserve is reportedly scheduled to conduct a Treasury bill purchase on February 10th at 9 a.m., injecting approximately $8.3 billion as part of a broader short-term liquidity support program totaling around $53.5 billion, which is chump change now with the amount of money they're printing. This is described as the largest individual operation within the plan aimed at maintaining stability in money markets and easing short-term funding conditions. So the repo market, again, slightly stressed, needs more liquidity. Similar details have been shared across financial and crypto news outlets, noting that the injection involves purchasing short maturity treasury bills to increase cash availability in the system. So you see treasury bills end up at the Fed, money ends up in the treasury. The money is being printed out of thin air. It's being borrowed at a VIG. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's crazy. And we should be the ones who make the money, the U.S. government only. So is Bitcoin going to defy the liquidity odds? Sometimes it does, and just does what it wants to do. And that's why I'm just as a, you know, this looks good to me. It's finally, you know, this is what we're looking for, the bounce back to the upside. And now, you know, there it is now. It's only a 2-to-1 risk-reward ratio. See, even from here to there, buying at 6,800 or 6,850 is a difference between a 2 or a 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio. I don't think people understand the technicals that go into trading specifics, because you want to make sure you're hitting it at these exact moments, right? That's why when I trade, it seems like I'm like, some people call it like, is he flip-flopping? I'm not. I'm just like, I want to get in at the exact entry if possible. If there is an exact entry to the science and you study the science, then you will find exact entries. You get what I mean? Like, if you stick to the science like insanely, you're going to find things that other people can't see. So this tells me there's still a chance here for a move back to the upside, but let's zoom out. And I'm okay with missing it because it looks like it will come up, then go sideways again. And just very messy price action, but the slow is holding, which is all you really kind of want to look for. And what I mean by that is the 1-hour candle has not closed below 67,008, right? Well, let's whittle our way down. Let's start from the top down, and let's do what we do every single day here on the channel. Shout out to the Crypto Lifers. Thank you for jumping on in. And please forgive me, I didn't even post the link to the trading group, which is like horrendous. Let me get that done right away. Shout out to all the beautiful people here on the live. Thank you for being here. Thank you for God for giving us this beautiful day in which we can find opportunity. If I believe there's opportunity coming for me, then there is, right? I always believe there's opportunity. Boom, and I land on Fox News. You know what I mean? I always believe something big is going to happen. Something is coming my way, and something does. You know, something does. You do have to pay to play. You know what I mean? When you got to put in the work, nothing comes out of nothing. You gotta grind, right? Like, you only get hooked up for what you put the work into every single day, Shout out to it. Feels like price action is waiting for some news before moving. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, exactly. Your signal on the 1 minute crossed the EMA on the 3-4. Yeah, it did, but it's just the lack of liquidity has me sketched out on it. Right, but we did have a couple of the model did play out slightly already. So anyway, let's break it down. But the first thing we already talked about is the possible 1 hour getting the bounce back to the top of liquidity zone, right? Just back up here. You can see there's a chunk here. There's a nice gap, but you got to get through that POC. It's not amazing right now. It's, we'll see. There's a chance. So this has a 68% chance. It's a falling wedge, so it should break out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, stupid is keep it simple, stupid, what my mom said, but keep it simple. I don't want to say anyone's, I'm not saying that to anyone else that people get offended. But for me, like, it's like the simpler I trade, man, the more it makes sense. The more things just align and start to do exactly what, you know what I mean? And when I overthink it, start getting in my head, it just doesn't make sense. But like, look, I mean, that's a double bottom. That's a falling wedge. That's likely going to break back to the upside. You got the stochastics pushing to the upside. They dumped it all night from the rejection at 71.2. So, like, it's basically been in a dump for 10 hours, 12, 15 hours. What else do you want? And you could double check on that. Hold shift and just go sideways, right? And look, 21 hours, even better, 20 hours, right, of dumpage. So, you dump, you pump, you dump, you pump. And you do have this lingering 200 moving average. Okay. Which still it could end up being a bear flag too as well. Completely. So anyway, what I do is I do a top-down analysis every single day, and we whittle our way back down into price action here and get busy. And shout out to the lifers who are just jumping on in, man. Hit that notification bell. Never miss the live stream. We've already kind of talked about it. You might miss an entry immediately at the beginning of the stream. I can't time the market. All I can do is be here every day, but days I'm showing up, there's things you're going to miss immediately. You don't want to miss that stuff. You want to be able to nail it. So make sure you're spot on with me. If you can. I know we all have different obligations and it's not easy, but man, there's, because sometimes I'm opening up the stream and bang, we're looking at an entry the second I start the stream, or I'm taking profits. I'm seeing something that's about to happen. So you definitely want to pay attention at that 1010 to 1020 mark. Anyway, so big resistance here at 72,300. Another big area here. And this is the monthly chart. This is the chart that I'm going to be like I've been paying a lot of attention to. And you could just see kind of the levels that matter. So we broke through this resistance here, 61.6. Next area would be 58,000. And then you're talking about 47K. And to me, we might make, which is crazy, we might spend 5 months making a bear flag here. And then go down. We might make the right shoulder. It might just be kind of more twisted and late. I still can't believe we'd never made a right shoulder there. Right? Like I thought we would at least get this rally, and then we were halfway in that daily, but they did a really good job of making, faking the bullish move. But you could also see the bearish move on the 5-day chart. So as long as you kind of came every day, price action made sense. If you took a few days off, then Bitcoin didn't make sense to you. And the sad thing about Bitcoin is you can't take days off. You know what I mean? For me personally, like I think about it sometimes, then I'm like happy. I'm like, you can't really take a day off. You can look at it at 6 a.m. and go snowboarding with your buddies all day, check on it, maybe, or not even check it on at all, and then maybe check on it at 6 p.m. at night, and just kind of like be involved. And you can spend 15 minutes doing it each time or less, right? And just make sure you're dialing in, and so that day you're hanging out all day, you're doing your thing. Same with the beach, same with your family. Like I'm not saying I don't take days off, like, well, I take like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. off, but then like my family goes to sleep at that time. I wake up earlier than everybody usually, and so there's always just that moment where I can always jump into the charts, and where you could jump into. I'm sure that everyone says I don't have time, but I think that's hogwash. We all have time. Everybody has time, man. And I don't know where hogwash comes from, but I think my parents used to say it. It's an old school name, but like for some things that just, when people are talking something that they, they're making excuses. It's hogwash, man. Come on, man. Like the water that they use to wash the pigs, man. Don't listen to that. No, anyway. So there's 24 hours in a day, billionaires have it, multimillionaires have it, and regular, people that make a modest living have it too. And everyone says, what's the difference between, Jim Rohn taught me. He used to say, hey, Sam, what's the difference between a very wealthy man and someone who never really went after their dreams? They both have the same amount of time. What's the difference? He said, well, the wealthy man looked at his time and really had high standards for every hour. Who am I going to spend it with? Why am I going to spend it with them? Can I help them in some way? Could, you know what I mean? Is there a benefit, can I learn something from them? Could they learn something from me? What kind of relationships do I want to develop? I personally like reciprocal relationships. I'm sure everybody does, where I learn something and the other person gets to learn something from me. And we gain some fun in the middle, right? You scared me with the Ice Cube, brother. That was a nice Patriots impersonation, though. Hit the like button. You're funny, man. Choking on it. You're funny, man. Hey. If you want it bad enough, you will make time. Financial freedom is the gameplay. Is there not a type B hidden bullish divergence forming on the end of the monthly? Would confirm it. I did see something like that, like this here. I see what you're saying. Like, I'm with you on this idea. This, right? Yeah, and you did come back and you retrace. That's what's crazy is you've hit the 786 Fibonacci retracement for that impulse. I mean, but you know what? It's like, since we never held the other one, I lack faith in that now because I'm like stretching. But you know, I'm open to it, and I appreciate you bringing that up. Let's see who said that. Who said that? Get them open. If you want it bad enough, you will make time. Financial freedom is the game to play. Yeah. Shout out to my man Extrinsic with an extra C there. God bless you, man. Thank you. Super cool when people interact with the chat this way. Like, I'm like, wow, I'm honing in. Like, this person is listening. I'm pushing it and giving out the information. You're kind of dialing in. You're picking up what I'm putting down. It gives me that strength to keep going. Okay, so we're looking for this flag here to get very tight. And, you know, I just want people to understand it could take 5 months and we could still come down 26, 27, maybe even to 40. We'd have to first hit here. But, you know, I just want to know, this is your worst case scenario, and this is still a possibility. It really is. And when I pull a fib, you know, Bitcoin usually, if this is going to be the cycle top, which I said I've never not seen a cycle top. We're away from the 200. I kept telling everyone, I mean, this is the bearish I've ever seen it. What I will tell you, though, is this sell-off was pretty heavy compared to, and it basically is as strong as the bottoms that we've seen. So it took a lot of money to sell Bitcoin down this far. You know, and it's so far, it does it every single time as if someone is, it's like, it's creepy, right? It never seems to fail. But when I saw this at 6, now it's at 9. I mean, that's extreme fear, folks. And so for me, I don't buy when we're up here. You can't buy when we're pumping at 126 and we're the highest we've ever been. I was a little sad at that point. I really was, because I was like, man, that's my chance. I probably really can't accumulate as much. I had this goal for how much Bitcoin I believed I could obtain, and it looked like I wasn't going to hit it. Because when I looked at how much Bitcoin was, and I was like, man, I'm not going to be chasing it at these prices. It's just not something I'm going to be doing. And now it's actually far more attractive for me personally. So I'm actually happier. I get happier when this is low, because my entire life was built off this hitting these low areas and me taking advantage. And if you saw me, I fired off enough shots as much as I could here. And look at Bitcoin now, a bullish engulfer, right? Looking like it is going to break out back to the upside here, back to the top of the range. And telling me I may want to be chasing that puppy. And it could be defying this descending triangle, right? You never know, though, man. It's been such a sketchy day for price action. But, like, there you go again with this same idea. Looks way better on the 1 minute, on the 1 hour than that 30 minute, right? It looks like it's breaking out on the 1 hour time frame. And again, that would be the tweezer bottom. We close a bullish engulfing candle. That suggests we will get a move back to the upside. We had it here too, though, and it just really, we didn't get the love. And for me, that 200 moving average would be the obvious place, and here too, like there, you'd get this kind of push back to the upside. Technically, it has the feel of a double bottom too as well. So, and it's getting later and later. Like the entry was, in my opinion, way earlier. I'm missing on it already. Kind of a chase. Let's take a look at my, this signal here. Yeah, I mean, see, you made the flag above the 200. The 21 came into price action, right? So, like, there's the signal that we talk about all the time. This is why I use the 1 minute 200 moving average in conjunction with the 21. It'll be written as like, this is what this man did. And then you get this bigger channel too, which, almost suggests that I could still snipe in and catch this breakout. So Bitcoin is kind of coming back with a bit of a move here to the upside, 69,300. And that's, on the channel where we're really bouncing from the 1 minute back out to the 1 month and really give you the bigger outlook as we're swing trading or looking at a trade or, All right. How many times down altcoins? Oh, man, yeah. Manipulation is real. I would say Sammy the Bull, but don't snitch on me, Sammy. Shout out to Dirty Shirts, man. What about trade with TP87. What about yesterday's trade? Yeah, that trade. I told you got to be in the trading group. If you were in the trading group, you'd know exactly what happened to the trade. Yeah. And I almost should say nothing because that would be like, okay, that's why I joined the trading group, right? Yeah. Sam, that blue suit with the pink combo was classy. Thank you. My wife nailed it. I appreciate you saying that. God bless my wife. She's the best. Behind every great man is a greater woman. That's the truth for me. She does everything to keep me whole and complete, and may God bless my wife. She is absolutely amazing and blessed to be around. I'm so happy to have my wife in my life. So stay amazing, stay blessed, love somebody, give yourself away to somebody, and you'd be surprised what you'll get back, man. God is teaching you and showing us the way every single day. So look, I mean, Bitcoin doesn't look amazing. I got to be honest with everyone because, you know, you still got this trend line. You still got a potential descending triangle here that could take us down. There's your measured move, and, you know, this is just something you got to be aware of. That takes you to 32K, too. Like, it's crazy how fast this thing could, you know. It's insane. And just erasing. So does it get tight and start to move down? I mean, I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but you can see how, like, in my humble opinion, you got to get back above this resistance here, right? That's a key area, 83,000, 82.8, 83K there. Because, like, bounce. Once you lost it, you got to get back above that. Like, if you're really a cautious bull and you really wanted to believe in the move, like, you wouldn't buy any of this bottom nonsense. You would wait for us to get above here to make the trade, right? That's like a low-risk guy that doesn't trade much, but he wants to solidify the fact that there's momentum. Bang, right? That's kind of the key area. Anything below that is just like a fake rally that really didn't get above the previous resistance. So does it matter? It doesn't. Yeah, I'm with that idea. 3-day chart did a bullish engulfer, though. That's a good sign that we could get a continuation back to the upside. The stochastics RSI got a bullish cross. Right? Hey, you never know. It could just be making a bear flag. You got to get a real push up. Like I said, too, you got 83, 8. Yeah, right here. Where's that? Yeah, 83,800, 82.8, 83K. For me, that's a big deal. You don't get back above that area, man. You don't start closing candles up here. Where, you know, and this is just a false rally. So watching this descending triangle. And so what will happen is if you watch this and you have this kind of in your back pocket, and we get a nasty drop on the daily and then a pump up, and like 4 or 5 candles from now, you're over here in this tightness. I mean, you know what the odds are. The odds are very likely you're going to dump. Usually it won't dump immediately. It's going to take like 3 or 4 days. You see? And you can always just hold shift and go sideways here. And you can see like 3 days, 4 days at the very most, and you're deep inside. Hey, get your mind out of the gutter. So there, you know what I mean? So that's just one thing we got to think about. I didn't say it, you did. And now here we are. Wow, but look at this. Nice little bounce here. Even on the 4 hour, it's interesting. So like I was looking, so we started off, if you remember, watching this consolidation, and we had kind of this like a flag up here. It dumped, and then we had this bigger flag. And if you remember, but on Sunday, I believe we traded this on Sunday. We got the pump. I got in here. We sold there. We called it a day. Then I watched it consolidate again, and then we had this flag, right? And then I got in here yesterday. We got the pump. I was in the money. We slowly kind of came down. When we were here, I wanted to see us bounce and stay in. We didn't. I closed my trades for like $50 to $60. It stunk. I think they were up like 600 and 500 at one point, $1,100. And I usually take it, but I was looking for like a real move. For me, I was, I bought into the idea. And remember, we caught this bottom already and sold into these green candles. So I've already given this trade here at the bottom, and I sold into here, and I showed ways that you could stay in the trade until there. The point is, we already kind of took all these candles. We took everything the market had right here, if you're in my group, right? And now we're just kind of seeing if I want to see if I can catch this next big monster move here without being left out. They're doing a real good, way of trying to kind of. So really, all you got to do is get in here with a stop below this previous low. And so far, that has prevailed. And actually, the trade I gave, even up here, was to put the stop below here. So there's got to be people that are still possibly in a trade like that, if they looked at the same thing I did and had the same education. So 4 hour time frame oversold, too, on the stochastics and curving. Now suggesting we could get a bit of a bounce here. So you can see, man, they're throwing everyone for a loop, and you got to be really keen on your TA to kind of stay in this game. And you can see how this falling wedge now is breaking back to is attempting that break to the upside there. Strange price action. I like to keep the candle bodies. There's a wick there. I guess it works. But it's this is just ugly price action and choppy. Shoulder head, almost right shoulder being defied at the present moment in time too. So they have people that probably took this shoulder head, right shoulder. I see the stochastics are pointing up to me, so that looked like, wow. And there's the pump. There's the pump right there for Bitcoin, right? Still not amazing. Like, I'm not like, oh, wow. Right? Some days, like, you could pick the direction of the market, still not trade it. It just might not give you the perfect risk-reward ratio you're looking for. Like, that's a 271 for me to get in now. Yeah. It is sporting the model. Now I look at it on the 5-minute time frame. I'd like to see us get above the 200. So there's the 5-minute, right? Kind of looking pretty good. Like, it's going to pull up, pull this to, and so it's telling me there could be an opportunity in like an hour and a half on the 5-minute time frame too. You're going to make sure that you're, never be jumping into things you don't have to be jumping into. Take a breather, one step at a time. And remember, not trading is a trade. A lot of people don't have, remember, every time you ever say, hey, you know what, today I don't see it, I'm not going to take that. If you're like, no, I don't remember the last time I did that, then, remember, there's traders that can't do that. They have to trade every single day. They're relentless. And I'm pretty, I do it a lot, but there's times you have to just be like, you know what? I've got such a good edge when the market's like this, and I don't see the edge right now. This looks interesting to me because I got the 21 cooking. The odds of this breaking out are high right now. This is the model, technically, because you got the 21 about to touch above the 200 moving average. This tells me that I should take this no matter what, right? This is what I study for. 71,288. It is a Tuesday. It's not a Monday. 68,670, right? And I'm up on the day like $100. Not amazingly well, but, And remember, we're trying to make, we're attempting to make $900, and it shouldn't be taking that long. It should take no more than 1 to 2 hours at the very most. Maybe it could even take 10 minutes. We don't know exactly how long it could take, but it could take any amount of time. High risk, high reward. Please don't do anything you see on this channel. Okay? This is just my life, a real reality TV show of what I do on a daily basis. How I challenge the market, how I look at the market, and the things that I look at for entries and exits, depending on what I'm seeing in the market, right? My risk to reward ratio as well, and how I'm going about my proper risk management. Anything could change. I see a nasty red candle. I look at, anything could change. I'm always I'm just looking at, once I see price action, I sit with it for a second. I sit with the risk. I sit with what I'm doing. I look at all these parameters and I ask myself, through my Rolodex of subconscious memories that I have stacked in, as crazy as this sounds, and I say, what, do I like this idea? So yesterday we nailed it, remember? And people said, oh, but yesterday we hit it. We got the pump yesterday out the flag to the upside. So we'll see, can we do it again? Can we do it again today? Can we call it? And all we're doing is the exact same thing I do every day, the model. What is the model? It's using the 200 moving average as coverage, getting in when the 21's touching, when we see consolidation. Very simple. And it's just rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat, right? Fastest $22. Again, who knows, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. So there's a live trade here on the channel. My name's Sam Price, the Crypto Lifer. And I can teach you how to trade any market in the world. It doesn't really matter. And it doesn't mean I'm right every time. I wish I was, but I'm not 100%. But what I do is I show up every single day. I give you my tips, tricks, and strategies, everything I know about the market in a bit of a nutshell. I even teach you when to trade and why, where the markets are going and how. And we have a good time. And we can look at gold, silver, Bitcoin, you name it. It doesn't matter. And we'll if it's out there, if it has a pulse, we'll trade it. If it has a pulse, we will trade it. Okay? And we trade multiple assets in multiple ways all the time. Okay? We're looking like we had a trade on gold and a trade on oil too. We're looking for the dollar to lose value so gold and oil can go up nicely. Okay, that's kind of what we're seeing. That would be like that's the key, right? Right now, we'll see gold is struggling, right? Oil is down a little bit too, but that's okay. I see a rebalancing on the day. And so this trade so far so good. It's up $50. We'll see. I want to find the perfect entry if possible. I want to get in right before it starts to move. Like, I don't want to see drawdown if I don't have to, right? Again, it's going to happen. Like, this trade could end up in the red before it ends up in the green again. We don't know. And that's the key. And I have to be okay. I'm risking 343 for 1,079. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I have to just be okay with that. And I'm either going to lose or I'm going to win. Like, and that's it. It is what it is. And I got to be able to move on. Can I handle the loss? I can. I don't like losing. I'll be honest, losing $300 in front of thousands of people is like losing 10,000 to me. It gets my goat more than anything. And we're looking pretty, we're looking pretty bearish. Things don't look amazing on the bigger time frames. Like, I'll be honest, like, I feel like I'm going against the odds here. But I'm looking, I'm also playing the model that, when I get in my head and start thinking with my emotions in my head, I don't take the trade. A computer says above the 221 touching, take the trade. I got to think like a bot, think like a computer. And a computer just does what it's supposed to do, no matter what. Win or loss, it just does what it's supposed to do. Yesterday, I asked you guys if I was going to win the trade. You guys said yes. Everyone here was completely right. So we'll see what happens. Maybe the same thing happens again. I don't know. It's looking sketchy now. And remember, I'm very close to the bone here. There's not a lot of wiggle room on these trades at all. That's why I risk a small amount. And remember, this is just sometimes I come back with a vengeance inside the trading group and we make another. There's days where I've lost 350 here, but I made $2,000 on the day, $3,000 on the day. Sometimes my biggest wins. You never know. So, but dang, right? It hit resistance and looks like it could just be an M pattern now. Could be a beautiful entry or a nice dump coming our way. 5-minute is getting resistance by the 200 moving average, right? We need this to kind of mellow out and go sideways here. So a few things kind of not going my way at the present moment, but we'll see. Can we get the bounce, or is this just going to dagger me out? And this is a crucial candle here right now on the 1-minute time frame. We really want to see this close a green candle, get the bounce in 44 seconds. And how do you know when it's going to close? Right click here. Go down to labels and hit countdown to bar close. And that's going to teach you when the bar is going to close, right? And that's important, if you want to kind of stay on your game. This eagle is in flight. We know Sammy wins. Gainitis. Shout out to Crypto Billy in the house. Shout out to everybody here. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here, sharing your most precious asset with me, and that is your time. Your time. Guard it wisely. Okay? Guard it wisely. Raise your, they said a wealthy man raises his standards for his time. He has high standards for where and what he does with his time. Very important. Okay? When I didn't care much about my life and I wasn't going many places and I couldn't help others, not to be rude, I was doing the best I could, but I didn't have my financial independence. I couldn't help people. I couldn't teach people. I wasn't online. I couldn't do much. I did what I could for the people around me. I was in a good mood. I don't want to put down who I was back then, but I got to be honest. I wasn't the same person I am now. And back then, I hung out with a lot of people that wasted my time. I really did. And, I abused my own time. So therefore other people did too, and I wasted time going places and doing things that didn't really serve me. It didn't help me, didn't help the world. Look, it looks like they're going to come for me now and take me out. I can't watch. I don't like to move it. To me, that's kind of, you're kind of losing the pattern there, right? You either got to wick back inside or that's a wrap. Looks like a double top now with rejection at 69.5. Only time will tell. But it looks like I'm going to get sniped out. But only time will tell. We don't know. Nobody knows for sure, but that looks bearish. That looks bearish to me. But they've been doing all sorts of crazy stuff all day, so you never know. Let's zoom back out to the, so yeah, we came all the way back down. Yeah, so you see where we're at now. We're looking for the 1 hour just to bounce back to the top of the range, 71,241. And I might be, I might get stopped out and then it pumps to the upside. It's happened. Okay. Rejection of the 5-minute 200. I was waiting for it to get above to take the trade. Yeah, I think that's another thing. When it gets sketchy like this, up and down, I wait for the 5-minute to get above the 200 instead of the 1 minute. But you never know. Things are looking good on the 1 hour time frame. A chance we get this reversal, 69,100, 69,150 for Bitcoin. Only time will tell. All right. I'm just willing to take a shot. We'll see where this goes. All right. Take a look at coin market cap. Any sleepers, anything kind of jumping up? Pippin up 42%. Again, up 112% in 7 days. River trying to make a little quick comeback there, back to 17. Up 38% in 24 hours, 21% on the week. Stable was also interesting, up 32%. Aster with up 10%. And so a little bit of movement here in these altcoins. Canton CC still holding 16, right? So that hasn't really done anything crazy. Bitcoin Cash was another one we were watching that was kind of somewhat stable compared to the rest of the market. We've got Render. Just realized, man, kids took my pillow, man. But look at this. I mean, I got out of these altcoins and I just, I could tell there's something was brewing that October 10th. And I got lucky on the morning stream. If you watch that stream, or, I said, man, things don't look good. I had to jump out last night and the day, And then I started stacking Tether and I kept saying, man, I'm in Tether, bro. This doesn't look good to me. I said, I'm going to hold what I believe can make a move for the next, couple of years here and there, but that's about it. Okay, baby, looks like we're back in the grind here. Look at that, like we're back in the move. And now it looks like Sammy may win this one. You guys have so much faith in me. Man, even if I have, you guys are always rooting for the lifer, man. God bless all the awesome people here on the stream. Thank you so much. And, I do have a torn Achilles tendon. I'm okay, though. I'm bouncing as strong as I can. Last night was tough. The pain comes and goes. It's really when I move without the boot on, I get a wave of pain throughout my leg. But then the boot's also tight because it's like I pump it up against the leg. And anyway, there's so many weird things going on. My back and all this other stuff, but I'm okay. At the end of the day, I have a beautiful wife, beautiful family. I'm looking at all the things that I do have. God is in me. God is with me. And the love of Jesus is all around. I'm hearing the word. And I'm hearing Jesus all the time now. Everyone I know is saying Jesus. I'm reading the Bible. I'm surrounded by people that are reading the Bible. I've never had so many people tell me they're into the scripture, man, in my entire life. So there's a global awakening. I'm a part of it. Something's going on. And I can taste it. I can see it. I can see it's amazing. So this stream is for God. My life is for God. Everything I've done up until this point is for God, man. I know I do sell education. I know I have a beautiful live stream. I'm not going to ever back down from what I do here online as an educator, entrepreneur. I love my life. But God has provided every single thing for me that has come my way, and I know that. And the second I put something ahead of God, something material that makes no sense, that's when it all begins to fall and crumble. All right, it's all about giving. It's all about being in the source. And there's a feeling when you're in the source, man. With the source, it's an amazing vibe. That's why I'm able to go live every single day, despite this injury, despite everything that's happened to me. And I get surgery on Thursday. It's going to be a tight day. That day I will not be live at the regular time. So, and everything's going to be fine. Yeah. Mysterious Whale opens 20x long. News just came in. Hey, I love that. Just tell people that. It makes them feel good. It makes them long. You know what I mean? A long, hey, Mysterious Long just opened up a massive long. Really? Yeah. No, I'm just telling you that because it sounds cool. I'm just joking around. We don't know. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm being, you know what I mean? I'm being facetious about the idea. But you never know, right? It's a great way to get people to think things are bullish. Oh my gosh, did you hear? Right? And someone says what it actually takes to prove someone is Satoshi Nakamoto. Right? It's like, it's almost impossible, right? I don't know. To me, it's not like an easy just, hey, this is what it is, right? So Bitcoin. Looking like it could just tweezer top and roll over today. I can see it both ways today. I'm telling you. I really can. This thing could wick just right back inside, turn into a descending triangle, and take this puppy down. Don't take me down, right? But this thing could go down. I could see it go to 65,000. And that's where Bookmap is suggesting that we go further to the downside. All right. We're all praying for your success and quick recovery. Thank you, Rave Psalm Records. Satoshi was, oh, wow. Ooh, I didn't want to go there, but hey, you never know. Trump Insider just opened up a $10 million long. Next day, Trump Insider got, I know, right? Shout out to Grandmaster Friend of the house. I know, right? Yo, I heard Grandmaster Friend just opened up a long. I heard Lifer just opened up a 30X long. Yo, it's like a $30 million trade, man. Yo, the guy is going all in, man. No way, bro. He's the best, man. We should long too, bro. Next morning, liquidation. Yo, that wasn't him, bro. That was a fake tweet, bro. No, man. Yeah, man. I was looking at the wrong account. It was the Crypto Leafer with the Y, man. I didn't notice, bro. But I went all in, man. I put all my money. What are you telling me? Sorry, bro. I'll try to look at it next time. Hey, man. I didn't press the buy button for you, bro. It's on you, man. Crypto in 30 seconds. Who wants to make a cartoon with me, man? We can get it done, right? So funny, right? But it's true, right? It seems to be the case almost all the time. Wow, this is crazy, man. It's one of those days where you're going to watch me grind this trade out. I need some wiggle room, Master Fry. I need a wiggle. Give me some wiggle, baby. Let me wiggle through this trade. Like, I feel like those guys that go rock, into those deep caves and they get stuck in there. Oh, that's so sad, man. Those people get stuck and they can't get out. That one guy in the nutty putty caves, right? Nutty putty caves or whatever, right? The nutty caves. The guy keeps going, dude. Why would you keep going? He's like, oh, I can get out with my hands behind me. Once I went a little bit, I'm like, all right. Once you have an instinct that tells you if you keep going in, you can't get out. Your body tells you can't get out. And he goes all the way in anyway, right? Everyone knows, right? The Nutty Buddy Caves. You guys know what happened, right? So sad, right? Next thing you know, he's on a radio talking to his wife upside down. So I think of stuff like that. Also, I remember when I fell through a glass door. You see that scar, right? Nasty one, right? And I'm still here. So, my foot hurts, man. But 4 or 5 months later, and then I'm going to do heavy physical therapy. I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to grind it out. I don't even know the pain that's going to happen when I come back from surgery. I'm probably going to be in more pain than I am now. It's like this is an injury that, like, it's a gift that keeps on giving, man. This injury just keeps on giving. Oh, man. So we're in a live trade right here on the 1 minute time frame. We're doing it nice and complete, nice and cool. We're keeping it cool, calm, and collected here. It's a $35,000 trade, $4,000 in it, 9x levy. And we're seeing if we can make $1,000 today in a couple hours. That's the key. By 1 or 2 o'clock, we should know whether we made this money or not, based on what I've done on my. But you never know. We could also go sideways for days. You never know. I don't really time my trades. I just make the trade. But usually, in a few hours, we will be able to figure this trade out, and it'll happen. All right. So Coinbase base app cut social features and sharpen and trade it. Yeah. The Super Bowl app predict the bubble.com crypto and now AI. That's interesting, right? Crypto wallet giant MetaMask. Top sentiment new development activity rankings. Here are the other high scoring projects. Interesting. Just nothing too crazy, man. South Africa to establish new entry for property management. Ethereum plans zero knowledge block validation upgrade in 2026. That's interesting. Okay. But nothing too crazy there when it comes to price action. Let's look at crypto rank. And again, there's still coins coming out every day that you may want to pay attention to. Tree has been on the radar. Space Coin up 13% in 24 hours. Very small market cap, though. River, right? Still on the radar. They're up 40%. And, people just love River. It has a lot of insane price action. Like, I've never, like, people are addicted to trade. I think a lot of people got burnt. They want to go back at it. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of people that made money and they have extra funds to go at it. And so because of its volatility, it's created opportunity, right? Rainbow's been on the radar too. They're $11.7 million in volume at a $6.3 million market cap. That's interesting. When I see a double 24-hour volume on the market cap, that gets me looking a little bit there. Okay. And you can always click on one of these crypto rank and find out what it is. What does it do? What's going on? Right? And I'm not saying to buy any of this stuff. I just want to make that very clear. It is on Coinbase already, which is interesting. It's a versatile suite of tools designed to streamline cryptocurrency management, compatible to Android and iOS for mobile, as well as desktop applications and extensions. It empowers users to create and manage Ethereum-based wallets effortlessly. So it just seems like it's trying to become like a more commercialized wallet. Nothing too crazy. So here we are with BTC. And look at this. I mean, it's just up and down. Look at the price action there on the 1 minute now. It's just like, look at this. It's like, okay. Gets to the point where you're just like, all right, whatever you want to do, price, just do it eventually. I set my parameters. There's nothing I can do. And we got to get above that 5-minute 200 moving average. And the battle just continues here. And you can see some people think I thought the 1 minute was fast. Ha 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 ha. So did I. Right? Jobs report affect Bitcoin. You need to watch the 5-minute 200 moving average. Yeah, that's just the battle too right now. People are telling me I need to do what basically my system that I created. You need to use your system that you've taught me on the 5-minute. Now it's looking good. I like whenever price action gets between the 21 and the 200, it's like Bollinger Bands. And it gets very tight. Usually there's a big move coming. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a massive short squeeze in the next couple of minutes, honestly. But you never know. Bookmap suggests we dump to 65K. And so there's going to be this huge pump up. That's going to attract a bunch of longs. And then that's when they're going to bring it back down. At that point, we'll probably be away from the 21-day moving average on the 1 minute. And I will execute my long and take my profits possibly. So everything is looking okay so far. We got the cup and handle. They call him Sammy Cup and Handy. Why? Because he makes these cup and handles look insanely fun and interesting. And he sees the cup and handle when nobody else does. But look, that's a cup and handle there for Sammy. Above the 200, can we get the push to the upside? It would be so beautiful if I look smart today. If the market makes me look smart. It would be, can you just make me look smart today? Just this one day? Just on this one stream, just this one day. Make me look good. That's all I'm asking. Tomorrow's another day, but today I gotta have it today. For the audience, for the channel, for the people, bro. We gotta have it today. And then just liquidations. Complete annihilation. No, right? And again, I don't want to look at a watch pot never boils. Like I never like staring at my 1 minute trade, man. It's always like, stay away. The 1 hour looks good to me. It looks good to me. In 39 seconds, we're going to close a bullish engulfing candle. It's going to tell us a story right here. So the 1 hour candle closes at exactly 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 27 seconds. Okay. And we'll jump into the news real fast. This is amazing. So today is Tuesday. We had core retail sales month over month. Actual nada. No movement from month to month. All right. They expected it to go up 3%. All right. And the previous was 4%. So nothing happened. So it means retail just stopped buying stuff. You know what I mean? And they slowed down. And again, retail sales month over month. Employment cost quarter over quarter. It's lower than forecast. So people are paying less because AI. See, AI is coming into play. So you have more people getting laid off. This is what it's telling me. More people getting laid off so they can't buy stuff. But employment going down because they have a better way to employ, right, with AI. Import prices month over month. Okay? Same. So nothing big on the horizon there. Flat. And we just had business inventories in at 11. And they're down, compare, 1.1%, which, so it's just, there's a little bit of a slowdown here when you look at it. Tomorrow's another big day with average hourly earnings, non-farm, and unemployment rate at 8:30. That's going to be a major red day. And I've seen that even put pressure on a day like today. So we'll see what happens. Bookmap suggesting we're going lower. It's not 100%. It just says that's where the stop losses are. We may prevail over time. Wow, we're actually, this trade is starting to kind of mellow out. So far, so good. We're just kicking. We're just chilling. The 1 hour candle just closed. We want to make sure this one takes a little bit of a dip at first, right? You got to have a little bit of a wick. And then we want to make this a green candle and start to push. We have a beautiful gap of the VRVP. Look at that. I mean, it's so sweet. So we just need to use this as a springboard to get through the gap And it tells me at 70,387, we may want to think about taking profits on, or moving the stop loss, something to protect the position. And again, could we just be rolling over, make a tweezer top, and call this a day? We very well may. Price action has been really, really whack, back and forth, and we haven't had a lot of push, follow through on when we see something amazing. So, just, I got to be honest with everybody. It's been tough. It's been tough. I'd like a little dip now so we can get the wick on the 1 minute, but that's on the 1 hour, but that's about it. So Ethereum plans zero knowledge block validation upgrade in 2026. Indeed, Ethereum is moving away from a model where every validator must re-execute every transaction towards one where block can be validated by verifying zero knowledge proofs instead. Specifically, the shift is outlined in Foundation's L1 ZK EVM roadmap for 2026, which earlier were tracked under EIP 8 8025. And, that's going to change things for Ethereum, and it's going to make it quicker. And it's also, they did finally make a pretty good upgrade. And Ethereum was the least expensive it ever was to use. And, I mean, that's amazing. I got to, hats off to Ethereum. It's been fun. It's been easy. I've been using it recently, too, and it worked absolutely great. So, fast, efficient, and you still got to love cryptocurrency. You can move millions of dollars on the Ethereum chain for pennies, man. For a buck or something less. It's like it's you know what I mean? And it happens in seconds. You don't have to stress it. It's amazing how you can move money in cryptocurrency. It's like light years ahead of the world, and we're still doing Swift, and people don't know where the money is, and it's taking an hour, days, and if you don't do it at 4 o'clock, you got to wait the next day, and man, it's so weird, right? Yeah, my fault. Someone says, what's interesting, Dirty Skirts? Let me teach you something, okay, about my life. I think it's going to change the way what you just said. So he said, I hate Discord with a passion, right? It's interesting. You ever meet someone that says, I hate PCs, I hate Macs? I've met someone that said it. I just hate, I'm a Mac person. I don't use PCs. Or and again, I started with a Mac. My dad got one of the first Macs, a Centrus 660 AD it was called. Okay? A Centrus 660 AD Macintosh. Okay? It was like this long and flat computer. Apple in July of 1993. I was 10 years old. My dad got a computer, brought it home. This was it right here. This is the computer I had at home, right here. I played Carmen Sandiego on a floppy disk, okay? I'm old, man. But I was one of the first generations I was probably the first generation to have a computer in the house. And my dad was one of the first people to have a computer. My dad was an iron worker, but he thought he wanted his kids to have the best, man. And it's funny, my friend came to see me when I was living in Boston, and I showed him the table. I said, that's where I started. And he goes, look, your dad bought you a computer, and look what you did with it. He's like, you turned yourself into a multimillionaire with the computer, bro. He's like, man, your father is proud of you. And he hit me, and so like I am blessed. I did have amazing upbringing. So I started on the Mac. My whole point of the story is I started on the Mac. And eventually, and I used Mac until I was like, 18, 19, and then I got into other jobs, and then I started working in the field that I was working in. And sometimes the whole place was Macintosh, sometimes the whole place was PC. And I eventually got both at home. I had a Macintosh laptop and a PC at home. I started building my own computers. I started learning that PCs were better because you could put more RAM, you could make them faster, you could customize them, you could build your BIOS, right? You could load BIOS. If you had any problems, you could troubleshoot it yourself. You could flip batteries. You could do anything you wanted, right? You could get a bigger power source if you needed. It just, and I had fun. And I learned, so much having PCs because I learned how to build my own computers, right? And now I have my own, my computers are all self-built PCs, right? And I don't really use Macintosh anymore because I just don't see the point in it, right? But the point is I was able to transition back and forth. And so... And I never said I hate this. And actually, there was a time when I was like, oh, I'm just, I'm a Mac guy. I was that guy at one point. But I realized that you have to transition the mind and learn everything if you want to be the top of your game. So if you say I hate Discord, it's a long-winded answer. You're basically, what else do you talk negatively to yourself about? Because if you're already talking negatively to yourself about, dude, Discord's very simple. You join Discord. When I put out a chart in a video, you watch it and listen to it. If something comes in the alts and if something comes from the elites, pay attention. You don't have to be in the 99 chatting all day. You don't have to say anything to anybody. You just do whatever you want. You see what I mean? So that's all I'm saying. It's just, when I was in a trading group, man, I helped people in the beginners groups as much as I could. And I just listened to the guy who ran the group, right? Very simple. If you keep things simple, they make sense. Okay. Yeah. I have 4 TB access Eternal HE. I might leave it open, but we are at extremes. Yeah. If Discord's only using Face ID if you use like voice control or something like that, like if there's things that you want to use with it. You know what I mean? And don't worry, we'll have something better, in very, not too long. So take a deep breath. There's a chance we actually swoop in at the right time. Sam, I'm also self-taught, built my own company and learn how to trade. Thank you, man. Hey, God bless you, bro. Yeah. And look, it's not looking good now. It's bouncing off the 200 moving average. Like, see, it's grifted on me for sure. And it's taken too long. Like, by now on a Tuesday, should have made the gains, right? Let's take a look at River. I see people bugging out about River right now. I see y'all in the 99. Fiending for that River. So River, look, it crossed the 1 hour 200 moving average, and it was gone. 14 all the way back up to 17. But now you're chasing, right? And you can see there's a bear div on the RSI and price action. You're away from the 21-day moving average. You never want to chase things when you're far from the 21. 4 hour 2, look at where the 4 hour is. I mean, it looks like it's making a giant Adam and Eve. And it's rounded a bottom. That could propel it further back to the upside for sure. I want to say for Sheezy, right? But it doesn't look too bad. And then I'd start making support or resistance on the 4 and say, okay, if everything goes well, like the 21's going to come back to price. I may miss a huge pump, but there's a chance. But if it goes like the high probability way that gives me a great entry, then this is what it should do. So this is quantum projection theory. I project what I want to see out of the quantum realm. And if it takes that process, then I'm going to take that move. If it goes quantumly in a different direction, then I don't take the move. It's pretty simple, right? So I set up the trap for the trade, and I only take the trade if the trap is set. And I do this around the market for hundreds of things and then set up alerts. And when the alert, it's a very beautiful way to spy what's going on and to not get caught up in the nonsense and the sauce. That way, whenever I see what I see, it's something I've been planning and working on. And when I get into a trade, it means the trade's been I've speculated on the trade for more than a couple days. It's something that I've had in the back of my radar. I'm not making an impulsive move based on something that I can't understand. It's a simple process that I can calculate, and it makes sense. If your process can't be simply you got to be able to be like, do I get in or do I, you know what I mean? Like me, I have some really simple parameters at this point. Like you get tight in here, the 21 gets close on the 30 and the 1 hour and everything starts to go my way, then that's another trade. I can even begin to build risk. And I can see what my ratio would be, where I want to get out, why, where I want to put a stop loss. There's a nice, right there, that's interesting. I could use that resistance as support, and I can get a 3.17 risk to reward ratio. Look at the 77, interesting. But and then we could get to 25.62 as the target. And again, this could easily just dump. Make a right shoulder and plow down. And everyone would be like, but you were long. No, I wasn't. I was waiting for the quantum theory to play out. If it didn't, I don't have to take it. Okay? So this is like kind of how it works, so this is it, right? And then remember, it took me 17 years to make my first mill. And, okay? So just set it, the fact that you're going to get there. Eventually, you're going to be the king of the castle. And just know that it's going to happen. And know that you don't have all the reasons why. You can't figure out what, I didn't know. When I decided I was going to become a multimillionaire, Bitcoin didn't exist yet. You know what I mean? When I had changed my mindset and started realizing that I was going to work myself into the mindset of a multimillionaire, I studied multimillionaires and I thought about how they thought. They all said that you have to have the thinking first of a multimillionaire to become one. They said you have to change the way you think. I was negative to myself. When a car went by worth $100,000, I said, "Oh, you'll never drive that. Why would you even look or envy for something like that? Why would you even want something like that? You'll never get that." Negative self-talk, right? I come from, humble beginnings. My mom was a school teacher. My dad was an iron worker. He said, why do you think you have to be such a big shot? You be happy with just enough, But I always was like, why though? Me and my father would argue sometimes because I said, so why do you want to be? I said, I don't want to be a big shot. I just want to have abundance. I said, I believe I can live in the reality in which I portray in my mind. And I portray this beautiful reality where the boat comes in and the house is looking over the water and everything is beautiful. You know, me and my kids have everything we need. We live in abundance. I'm tipping the waiter hundreds of dollars. I'm walking around like this is what I wanted to live in. I'm on my night shift and I'm projecting a life that I could only dream about. But I projected it and believed in it and curated it in my mind and pushed it into reality until it became reality. You know, this is the exercise that everybody is pushing for. This is the goal. This is the plan, right? Anyway, River, getting tighter in the zone. This thing could end up becoming a play. So what I do is I put an alert on River and I watch it closely. Another thing on my radar is Seeker. You know, we didn't get the move we were looking for, right? Sideways, really didn't do anything. Well, look, it's still tight inside the channel. Like nothing has really changed about Seeker. Still looks like it could do the damage. You know, and in the same time, Bitcoin drops, this thing will just drop. It's all coins are always high risk. They're even more high risk now than they've ever been, you know? But hey, this thing compared to the rest of the market is a bit of a cup and handle. Has support that it bounced off of, has tight moving averages. And you know, it just might want to make a move there. I'm out of Seeker right now. It's taking too long, but we'll see what happens. Looks like it could do some damage. It's oversold. It's getting very tight. 4 hour looks interesting. 2 hour looks interesting above the 200 moving average with the 21 touching. If anything could move, Seeker's on the radar, man. I definitely believe I'm putting another alert on there. So, and I'm just looking for things that make most sense to me. Okay, look at this. Look at this. This is insane what's going on here, right? And look, it's just chucking along. And look, the cup and handle looks like it may play out now. It's a really nice cup and handle now. Like it's solid. Like it really made sure it look at that. There's your cup, there's your handle. And look, now we're only down $9, right? And you've seen this trade down 200, I think, at one point. I see an inverse in the 1 hour. I posted to the Discord TA alerting section. Could you help clarify? Yeah, thank you so much. And that's another thing, guys. Post right now on the live stream. I never said this, but like let's get interactive together. Let's make this one of the coolest live streams ever. Something that you've never seen on other channels, right? So we have a learning TA and post your stuff here. We can actually go back and forth, right? We can like really get into this stuff. Look, nice. Sentient has that falling wedge. Shout out to Baudry, man. We love you, bro. Always grinding. Exactly. Keep posting more charts. Amen. Is the easy part of trading. Emotions are the real boss. Yeah, when you're new. Exactly. I got to keep my emotions super calm. Look at that. We got the pump, baby. Out the cup and handle, man. Sammy cup and handy, baby. No. Yeah, there it is. And again, it's only at 140. But again, I'm the king of 3%. Nobody makes 3% more than me. I tell you. Nobody. Nobody over here. Nobody. And again, this isn't about bragging. This is about showing you how to stand strong with your conviction. This would be so sweet if I make the $1,000 today and it just goes my way. Then I can trade later on this afternoon and into tonight. Turn it into a $5,000 day. You never know. But this is how it starts. So patient, so humble, just waiting for the move. Okay? And now we know that the 5 minute is getting that pump above the 200. Which is really what we were looking for, right? Now, it's getting a little too far for the 21, which isn't my fancy. Well, look, it kind of is an inverted head and shoulder there with a fake right shoulder, but it's, you know. Wow, I like what we're seeing. Interesting time. Again, this might come right back, and this might be the one that just sends us right down now. That's the crazy thing. Because we still got all this liquidity down here. Like, Bookmaps still suggesting we're going down to 65K. But wow, what a move to 69.6. And shout out to anyone that may not. Is anyone in the game right now? Did anyone go hard? Tell me what you're up. Tell me what you did. Did you get liquidated short? If you got liquidated on a short, put a 222. And that's okay. I just want to see. If you hit the gain with me, put a 333. All right. If you went super crazy hard and you hit hard already and you're out on that crazy move, put a 444. Because I know some of you probably did. Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Yeah. We got a bunch of 333s up there, up 500%. Unbelievable. Yeah, you guys go so hard compared to what I do. Didn't trade too volatile. That's great, man, that you had the conviction in yourself to actually stay disciplined and not trade. I like it. Took 50%. Bet the farm at 69 6 days ago. Oh, my gosh. Super chats, US 30 and silver. Interesting. Let's take a look at silver and US 30 for a split second. But now, look, we are getting... So the green candle closed, bullish engulfer. You enter in with the stop below the low, and then you should be getting the move back to the upside. I also showed you how to use the 1 minute to find the entry if you're looking for tight entries. So, or you could just use the 1 hour. So I showed you 2 ways to trade today: the 1 hour time frame or the 1 minute. It depends on your fancy. What do you want to do? Everyone, please hit the like button. Let's get the like button going, man, for everybody out here. All right. I was going to go in, then decided to wait for the 786 pullback. Interesting. Beware of the dump. Unfortunately, I'm not multitask. Shout out to Bear. I am multitask. I thought that was that. I thought it was the opposite. You know? You scared me with that ice cube, brother. You're funny, man. No, it was a mint. It was a mint. Always want to see you win, Sammy. Wishing wins to all the lifers. Shout out to Heavy Footer, man. US 30 hit new all-time high, 51.3K on my radar. Interesting. Look at silver, Sammy, cup in handy. And 69,550 for Bitcoin. Everything kind of looking okay so far. We'll see. We will see. And again, it's not easy to make a buck out here unless you want to be super. If you have to be super, I'm being pretty risky as it is, as far as I'm concerned. I'm right near the entry, risking 350. I think what I'm doing is extremely risky, and I'm barely able to pull out $100 out of this move. So, like, if you made any more, 1,000, 2,000, that means the risk was extremely high. You know, shout out to anyone that did that. I'm not saying, you're probably good at it. I'm just, man, I'm amazed at what you people pull off. I just try to help everybody every single day here on the channel figure out what price action's doing. If you come here and you learn how to figure out what price action's doing, then that's my goal. Anyone new on the channel, never been here before, but you're starting to learn, you're starting to understand more than you ever have, put a 10-10 win. Right, 10-10 win. If you come to this channel just a couple weeks ago, a month ago, you actually were skeptical of the voice and the suit and tie. You were like, what's going on? But you've come every day and you're like, man, this is just information that I can't say doesn't work. The guy every day puts it out there and it works. Shout out to all the awesome people out here that believe in the Crypto Lifer. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. If you want to know more, go to CryptoLifer.com. Hit the subscribe button. Join the Discord and hang out every single day. We love you. We appreciate you. Okay? CryptoLifer.com, baby. Every single day. Every single day. Okay. So, and we even give you some gems on the side here that that are interesting. And if you miss this, you're busy, you can't come. We also post this stuff to the group. All right. Yeah, even that Solana trade yesterday did get stopped out. I don't like, every time I love trade an altcoin, it doesn't go well for me. It's so crazy. I shouldn't say that. Anything is possible. But the last few times I've done it, it always tells me to stick to my Bitcoin trades. Yeah. Investing in myself by joining the Discord. Do whatever. Yeah, God bless you. Thank you. Too bad there's not another button. Can only subscribe once. Need a button that says, hey, God bless you, man. Thank you. And shout out to all the lifers out here. Let's see. I'm just going to say thank you to all the beautiful people that did hit that like button right now. Wow, 389 people hit the like button. I'm so blessed. To all the people that hit the like button, the Lord will bless you back so much for that. That's so simple to hit that like button and you'll get blessed tenfold. But shout out to the 389 beautiful people that did hit it. You're all blessed, man. Thank you. Everyone here is blessed, but the extra like is like, wow. That means you go far above and beyond, man. Thank you so much for the 390. Very blessed of the 1,200 beautiful people. So 900 people decide that the blessing isn't for them. I get it. But man, there's a blessing for you when you give to others. And all you got to do is hit that like button to give. Another thing we talk about here is I know you might be worried you might hurt yourself because when you come down on the like button, right, you hit the mouse here. Let me kind of just zoom in. You hit the mouse right here, right? And we don't want you to get hurt. So we have bandages for you. Like if you come down too hard and I know you might sprain your finger, right? Because you're just, so we have splints and bandages for you. in case, you're afraid to hit the like and it might hurt your hand. We have that for you, okay? What did I say something? What is it? What? So we're back in the pattern again. This is a boring. I mean, you could say it's a bullish retest at the top of the channel. It has to be. We got to get a bounce there. Boring trading. We should call this boring trading with the Crypto Lifer. Watch price action go sideways like a slinky all day. Yeah. Can't wait for the next slinky move. So that we were looking for Solana to make the move. It stomp hunted with the double bottom, right? Just like ugly Shimoloshi. Almost looked like it was going to bounce, and now that looks bearish to me, right? I mean, it looks like Bitcoin, but just feel like it's in a descending triangle of sorts. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe it's going to, eventually do a bigger consolidation, but this just looks... And then you could say here it is too, inside the symmetrical triangle. So, and this kind of tells you what the rest of the market's looking like. It doesn't look good to me. I have to say that these mainly break to the downside. It could be 50-50. It's a symmetrical triangle. You got some tight moving averages. You're attempting to double bottom. But it's like now or never type of stuff. And usually that's, creates a lot of liquidations too as well. So shout out to Marcus. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate you, man. Does your trading group go over the basics each month, or is it progression? Is there data for basic already in the membership? Yes. There's an entire course inside of the trading group. Let me show you. Other people charge you for a course or say they got, there's basically, I don't know, a 50-hour course in here or something crazy. But you come on in here to the learning team, you hit the content directory and just watch everything in here. And there's just video after video, Bitcoin halving dates, just talks about, really here is spot trading, how and why to add alerts, bookmap webinar, video series. And then it gets even deeper. Fibonacci class, fractal class, how to add the VRVP, stochastics masterclass, risk management, YouTube. Like, it just never ends. Bitcoin dominance, supportive resistance flips. What's a swing? Supportive resistance boot camp. So you'll learn how to do it. 21 SMA crossing the 200 on the 4-hour time frame. Once you understand that, it really starts to put things into perspective. Head and shoulders, price action versus indicators. A deep dive on process and mindset. Right? Time frames, measured moves, the death cross, understanding gap trading. Just, cup and handle guide. It just, you know what I mean? How price action moves and trend analysis. The rising wedge. Patterns guide, measured moves and our most accurate, complex bottom, inverted head and shoulder, double tops, double bottoms, triangular patterns, the diamond explained, how to trade the rising wedge, and more. So for $99, you get access to all that. And I think that's just amazing. I'll even tell you when the best times to trade are based on the sessions of the, when the Tokyo session begins and ends, when the London session begins and ends, when the New York session begins and ends. Why I trade certain time periods and when. A leverage trading class where I taught people, how to trade, the right way with proper risk management, why the liquidation matters, how it changes when you change what parameters. People are just leverage trading and have no idea what they're doing. Like, at least watch that video and gain a perspective on what to do if you're going to be doing it. All right. There's the bounce we're looking for, baby. So you're telling me there's a bounce. There's always a bounce. No, there's not always a bounce, but there could be. And so, look, I wait patiently. 2 hours from now, I make $1,000. 3 hours from now, I make $1,000. You know what I mean? People want their trade to happen right now. If it doesn't happen, they close it. They run around. You got to just be you got to be patient in your trades. If anything about my leg has already taught me patience. I can't run across the room and get things anymore. I got to wait. Sometimes I have to ask my wife for something and she's helping the kids and I got to just sit there and wait. I can't get things as soon as I want them anymore. And it's not, I'm not saying, I'm sounding like a baby. It's not as bad, but I'm just saying it's something that's happened to me, right? Because my leg is hurt, I can't just grab whatever. I can't move as fast as I would like to move. So there you have it. And so we're making this as exciting as we can. Bitcoin is flat today, but we're live trading it. And look, we're only down $3 now. Finally, you never know. Oh, we were up $100 now. And it's really all about the 1 minute and the 5. The 1 minute loses the 200 moving average. This whole thing ends, and this is just like, Wah, 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 wah. Maybe it's doing this now, like it's inside of a bigger rising wedge type of channel here. I tell you what, man, it's crawling. And again, with the news coming out tomorrow, I could see this week just being very, everyone waiting on this data at 8:30 on Wednesday. And I know you're like, oh, you're already saying that now, but yeah, I've seen it really start to kind of like hold the market tight for almost too long. But it's okay. It's okay. As long as you just kind of, you don't force trades, you don't have to overtrade. Let's take a look at this. We were down to 81, 82. If we can get this into the 70s, it's going to be more bullish for Bitcoin. 78%. I love it. 28. So yes, we're starting for this to continue to come down. We want this to eventually flip in March. And there's a chance it could. There's some pressure going on. The economy looks a little weaker. There may be a push to do what we got to do, right? Remember, this is a 1 hour bullish close too. We had the tweezer bottom, and this is a bullish engulfing. This suggests we will make a move to the upside. We broke out of the rising wedge, and it was also a double bottom of sorts right here too on the 1 hour time frame. So we're looking for this rising wedge at least to break back up to the 200. We also showed you the beautiful gap here in the VRVP. And you can see it. Now we're above the point of control. There's a nice gap right there. And it says we can gap right up to 70,464. You see it? And you can see it right there. Nice. And this is the VRVP. How do I add this to the chart? You go up here. You type in VRVP. You click on it. Bang. The only thing difference is you're going to be fat and chunky. Mine is like slimmer looking. And how do you get it to look like that? Hit this setting right here. And you're going to see 24. Just hit a 0 right there next to the 4. Hit OK. And bang. You're going to have it to look like, your colors may be different because they changed the colors recently, but you're going to have it looking just like the way I have it. You're going to be ready to rock. So if that gets you going, if that's what you're looking for, that's it. All right. Yeah. So that's how I use the VRVP. And you can see whenever there's a gap, we like to fly through the gaps pretty fast. I wouldn't be surprised if we make it to 70,800. I'm not looking for anything too big here. Just would love to win the trade. 71.5 might even be advantageous there. I might get out earlier than that. And it's almost boring, man. It's almost like time to just get out, right? It's like, dang, if it was supposed to break out there, that was the pump. But they're doing a really good job of just kind of keeping people in a fake out, breakout type of zone here. Go after both sides until you can see bigger liquidity and then shake it out. But I don't do the schlong thing really. I just, I either call it that way or I don't. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy, because my directional strength is my instinct, and I don't want to go against my instinct twice over. You know what I mean? Even if I can't, I'm not poised to do it that well. Other people are amazing at it. I just want to call it right. You know what I mean? Every day. That's like my plan is to call it right every day using years of subconscious mind theory based on what I've seen in the charts, right? And if that can come through for me and not using my frontal cortex, right, using the back of my brain, like. Because if you use your front of your brain all the time, right, you want to be kind of in autopilot when you trade. That's the goal. Funny, IREN getting a pump today. That's interesting. That tells me that there's some movement in DeFi. I didn't expect IREN to pump like that. I'll tell you that. I liked IREN. I've traded it on and off. It's almost like Ghost, like the other coin, right? Ghostware. And let's just look at my one speculative coin that I've been watching is Ghostware. Was doing okay. I don't expect much out of it, though, in this market. Oh, back to 7.6. So it's just been going Sid's way now. It did bounce off of Fibonacci, double bottomed in a way. We can kind of say like this. I like this. It's got to bounce and consolidate. If it does that, then we know. Right, there's kind of the cup and handle, too. I'm still in. I'm seeing if we can get to, maybe 2 pennies. We'll see where it goes. I bet Polymarket a couple times, and then I threw my Polymarket wins in there. So we win, we lose. No big deal, right? No stress. Back down $47. Trade is getting milked right now. Doesn't look good. Look like it's going to just M pattern its way down to the dumpski. And after all that, may just, may have to bow out. I don't know. I do trade with the little scalps here or there, but really want to hone in on the trading skills. Yeah, my room is so dirty. And also myself, though, I will clean somewhere the next days. And tonight, I'm going to get a new... Oh, my gosh. Please, man, clean yourself up, man. Every single day. See, that's a beautiful thing I have in a wife. Like, she cleans my sheets. You know what I mean? I don't even... She's like, oh, I read it. You know what I mean? My wife makes sure the house is on point. And she has help too. We have a wonderful nanny that's with us all the time. That's just absolutely great. Loves my kids. And I'm just blessed. And again, that you can't say anything else, right? But very, very awesome. Very blessed. Very blessed. So, not much else unless we force it here. Let's take a look at Ethereum. And I also want to look at gold and silver. See what's happening, and oil. But let's take a look at Ethereum and see what's happening. I'm expecting the dollar to lose more value than it has the last couple days. At least give us a little bit of a punch here. So let's take a look at ETH and see what happened to Ethereum on the big time frame. Whittle our way down and really do a big analysis here on Ethereum. So when you look at Ethereum, you could say it's still holding this trend line. And it's kind of it's a spider line of sorts with resistance there and a bounce. Kind of, if it loses that, you could see it drop right down to $1,080, right? Which it could. So you're kind of at a standstill here. Either ETH holds 2,000 or it goes to $1,000. It's kind of crazy. And so you're looking for March. Literally, March got to be a green month. You got to close this month off, up and down chop, but maintain wherever you're at now on this candle. You can't take out the low. You cannot close below 17777. 177s, of course, right? You close below 17777, that's a wrap peasy for in my humble opinion. So this has to, in my humble opinion, it has to kind of stay right where it's at. Can't lose 2,000, and you've got 18 days until the month ends, right? Come on, BTC. So Ethereum stuck. You got to see it bounce off this key level. Really, it's got to. It doesn't have a choice. You see what I'm saying? In my humble opinion. And look, it bear flagged its way down. What a beautiful bear flag. And that was the measured move of the bear flag. My whole thing is it just might make another bear flag and continue lower. What's going to stop it? The trend's your friend until it's not. So this tells me that we're going to continue lower for Ethereum. You see what I mean? This is kind of what I see on the table. I could be wrong. And that's crazy because it could take 5 weeks. And then we'll dump. The 21 will come close again and then we'll be dumped. So you got to either V-shape recovery and make an inverted head and shoulder. And again, it's the same thing. Bitcoin, we're doing the same thing for Bitcoin here. Right? So yeah, that's a gutsy call. That's why I'm only buying BTC right now at these lows. Right? You're never alone, for God is always with you, man. Always, always, always. There's always someone watching over you, my friend. That's what I learned when my parents passed, that I always had God in my life the whole time. It was just me that thought I was alone. I was never alone. Never for any reason. No. There was always a higher power with me that was helping me stay where I was, helping me keep going. Shout out to the beautiful people here on the live. Thank you for being here. 1,240 beautiful souls, man. 542 likes. You people are amazing. $31 in chat revenue. And we're going to take a look at those super chats. Someone asked about silver. Silver and gold, baby. I'm looking for silver to get a bit of a bounce, but it is struggling. It's not amazing. Let's take a look. The weekly. So what I do is tweezer tops and tweezer bottoms on big time frames. So you're looking for the 3-day to close this candle tonight. 5 hours and 25 minutes. I guess at 4 o'clock, the 3-day candle close. Yeah, so this candle will close in 5 hours and 24 minutes. That will be a bullish engulfer. At that point, a long for silver, in my humble opinion, is possible with a stop below the wick. But the thing is, you probably get it only back up here, 241. And so I see silver doing something like this, but consolidating nicely up until March. For some reason, late March into April is when things start to kind of look like something's going to happen here. And I don't know why. Show me the charts and I'll show you the news. But it just keeps showing. And I've been seeing March on altcoins, on Bitcoin, so many coins. And I've been seeing March for a long time, even a few months back. That's why I sold off altcoins. I was like, man, it looks like they're not going to start to get hot again until March. I have so much time. I don't need to be in it right now. You see? So that's what I look at in the bigger picture for silver. And then the daily looks very oversold, like it's going to bounce. And that's why we're looking for the dollar to kind of lose more value here. See how the dollar made this slanted descending? I want the dollar to continue down here like we were looking for. And then make this descending triangle and continue lower. And so far, so good. The dollar is setting up for that move further to the downside. Let's take a look at US 30. Wow, so the last time we put it out looked like it was going to break out, and it did, further to the upside, right? The Dow Jones Industrial Index at 50,000. Insanity. And, you know, what I see is they're going to print more money, right? And today I showed you they're injecting more capital into the market. It doesn't head into Bitcoin first. It heads into the regular market. Then those, if people make, you know, substantial regular gains, they flip them into riskier assets, right? But the first thing you see here is a rising wedge. And I also see the flag here kind of stabilizing. And I just see, you know, when they continue to print money, folks, it has to go in value to somewhere, like things that don't change, like a sheet. People buy sheets for $50. Okay. Print 20% of the money supply in 5 years. Man, that sheet's got to be worth 60, 80, $70 now. Then print more money in the next year. And the next thing you know, the sheet's worth $80. It was $50 just 5 years prior. And before you know it, the sheet's worth $100. And then you have a company that produces sheets and they're on the stock market. And their stock's going up because they continue to print money, folks. This is simple stuff. This is what's happening. And this was taught to me by Mike Maloney years ago. You can watch The Hidden Secrets of Money if you want to catch up with me and watch Money Masters. It will take you about, I think it's about 20 hours of watching, but you'll be so educated when you're done. My stream's going to make more sense to you. What I do is going to make more sense to you. How I got into Bitcoin is going to make more sense to you. And the over long time thesis of how I stack wealth is going to make sense to you. It's not just these trades here on the smaller time frames that play out and compound over time. It's also just a long-term thesis of why I'm where I'm at in life. Okay? No one ends up successful by accident. My success is not an accident. And you want to understand that fully by researching successful people and saying, what makes them tick? What did they do differently than everybody else? I researched the most famous, successful people and people that I admired. Tom Brady, because I'm from Boston. I watched him win all the time. He was obsessed with his workouts. Maybe a little bit too much. I think he put it so far that he did lose his relate. You know what I mean? Maybe there was a balance there. But again, he had people riding on big contracts, and he made sure that was the number one thing. And he came through on that dotted line that he signed, right? He made sure that he brought the fever. He brought, you know, the whole point is he had an obsessive work ethic that didn't stop when the offseason happened. He kept moving. This looks like it could continue even on the 1 hour here with a bit of a move. Same thing with Bitcoin. We're all kind of waiting to see, like the dollar's about to make this drop, and then boom, we're going to get the move. Look, I'm back up 80. You can't stress this stuff. You just got to wait your turn. Set and forget, man. Set it and forget it, baby. Right? Believe in it and leave. Believe and leave. How's that? That's my saying, man. Believe and leave. All right? Like, believe and leave, man. Set the trade and walk away. Okay? You know, I looked at all the famous, you know, anyone that was amazing at anything. I like Rodney Mullen. I talk about him a lot. And the guy was just unbelievable. You know, he did things on a skateboard no one people wouldn't even think about doing. He did it. And what an inspiration. And so, and again, how did he become? And then I thought about, who do I know that's famous? And I asked myself, what made, you know, I made things really simple for myself. I said, I'm a human being. I'm looking at the world. I'm seeing TV, YouTube, magazines, right? And movies, right? And radio, I guess. And somehow, when you get famous, you get into these things. Like I was on TV the other day, right? You hope that could continue. So people saw me on TV, right? If they keep seeing me on TV in different places, it'll change the the personal, like the basically the persona that people have for me and the idea that they have, right? It kind of changes how they look at you. And then, you know, you put out a book or something like that, right? People read the book. You create all these facets. And then, so I asked myself, you know, why did I know Rodney Mullen? Like, how come he made it? Because he was so good at being alone with his skateboard. He sat alone every day until the world revealed his skill. And he was able, you know, painters, they sit alone and paint until the world loves their paintings. So I thought everyone that got famous was out here networking, getting famous. But they weren't. They were all alone, grinding. Until someone revealed their work. Somehow they went out and they presented it to the world. Similar to my technical analysis, I sat in a room alone for years just doing it. And, you know, and just working on my channel, working on what I was going to, you know, how I presented it, how I used TA, the shortcuts, all that. And now here we are, boom, right? It's like boom. And so things just take a long time. People think success is overnight, and it's just not. It takes so long. And then you have to continue to push for what you've been, you have to continue to keep the bar up for where you've been before. You know, just because you hit big trades last week or you nailed it last week, like, can you continue to do that year after year after year after year? Right? And the GQ cover that we're going to nail. Yep. So you're not supposed to know about Ronnie Mullen, and he was an ex-math teacher, and physics are physics. Exactly. You're funny. Thank you, sir. I just thought that at the end of the rising wedge, a bear market would be slowly begin on the US 30, but still want to go north. Yeah, man, I see them printing money, man. You could be right. We'll see, but yeah. Just the opposite to me. I'm on a roll. Lost 9 in a row. I'm looking for a short. Interesting. Yeah, so everyone that I know and that I admire, whether it was sports, whether it was journalism, whether it was documentary style filmmaking, whether it was acting, whatever it was, they were relentless. Gene Hackman used to live in a flat with no money. He kept working and going to, they're all waiters overnight and they're going to auditions during the day, doing what they can to make it happen. Like Harrison Ford, he was the carpenter. Did you ever hear the story of Harrison Ford? Everyone know? He was the carpenter or something. He was doing people's decks. And he did the deck and then he said, hey, why don't you read for this part? And he became famous, man, in Star Wars. And that's crazy, right? He looks like a hardworking guy, right? Because he was, man. He wasn't, he fell into acting by doing what he loved, by being an amazing guy, doing the deck. And people with big money wanted him because he was the best at what he did. And next thing you know, he was in front of some of the richest people. And then they said, hey, man, this guy looks like a strong character. We could put him in a movie. And he was so nice and humble, they figured, hey, he won't be a pain on set. We could use this guy. We could put, and boom. Next thing you know, he's world famous, right? So, again, there's a whole nother story behind all that stuff, right? I'm not going to get too deep, but you know what I mean. My point is, everyone that I saw go after what they loved and were passionate, they made it happen. They won. And so I just want to tell you, just keep going. And you know what? At the beginning, you cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. I had no idea how my channel would ever get into 100,000 subscribers and how we'd ever get where we are today. I had no idea that, the trades that I made would happen the way they did. I had no idea that my life would go the way it went so far. And I still don't know if I'm going to win or lose this trade that I'm in right now, right? But you know what? I have faith that if I show up every single day, there's opportunity provided for me. And there is. Today, there's some opportunity. Sometimes I can't see it. Sometimes it might be so complex connected to the world that I don't know exactly how it's happened, but it's happening. Somehow, some way, something is getting connected. Some neuron, out there in the universe, something is pushing. God is watching. And God is helping those who believe, right? Fear is for the non-believers. And I love that saying because it's so true. Like, when you don't believe, you're full of fear. Right? So, because, but when you finally have full faith in God and God's behind you, what is there to be afraid of? If death is not the end, and death is the closest back to the source, then let this life be a lesson to us all. And that's all we can, that's how we go, right? I don't know where we're going to go for sure. I don't have all the answers, but I have faith that if I believe in the positive energy of life, that the positive energy of life will surround me. And I create the reality in which I live in. And it's so important that I curate my energy, keep my frequency high, and stay away from people that are low energy, low frequency, and putting people down. Today I didn't read one comment. I didn't see one person be negative. I didn't see it. If it was there, I never saw it. And so all I want to see is the beauty in life right now. Right? Doesn't mean I don't stay strapped. Doesn't mean I don't know that anything could happen at any moment in time. The key is always to have a backup plan no matter what, right? But project the best at all times. Shout out to Reliable J, man. I see you all the time there on X. Appreciate that. Gratitude for another beautiful day to be alive no matter what. Always stay positive. And put your best foot forward. Literally, to my team, put your best foot forward, right? People on 44K taking profits since they see Bitcoin bear market, Sam. Just rule it also that way. Yeah. Now, trading, yes, that I learned from myself are actually my pocket and also a bit my brain and my personal interest. Dude, it's a stepping stone every single day, one step at a time, one day at a time. Now I see this little flag and you're like, damn, Sam, you flag after flag, but that's how it works, folks. We just keep trucking along, man, and this looks like it's going to win now. I think I've waited long enough, but hey, I said that a few times now and it hasn't pumped yet. But we'll see. Only time will tell. All right, I want to look at something else too. We want to take a look at U.S. Tether dominance here. See how many people are still kind of forcing themselves into Tether or deciding it's just not going to be the play right now. I mean, the weekly clearly broke out. of what could have been a head and shoulder pattern too as well. Like that is a trend, right? It almost was a descending triangle. It's so crazy, right? But it broke out and then it bullishly retested the previous support as resistance. And then it bounced off the 200. It's way far away from the 21 on the weekly. And so what I'm looking for, I'm looking for this to kind of, to do a little bit of this. This is what we're projecting here. And you can see it's a little cooked as far as I'm concerned on the bigger time frames. Let's take a look at the 3-day chart. Yeah. Wow, it's got bearish div on the 3-day. And it's closing a tweezer top. I mean, that looks like we're going to dump. That's a good sign that people are going to, that Bitcoin has bottomed somewhat here. And you've hit a major resistance point too as well, like a high that you couldn't get back there, 87733. So interesting, you hit a major resistance, you double topped. So Tether dominance double topped here. That's a good sign for Bitcoin, folks. It really is. It's something you want to kind of pay attention to, in my humble opinion. And I could be wrong, but hey, that's got the sauce written all over it over here. Hey, over here. Johnny, you see that over there? Are you looking at what you seeing what I'm seeing? Hey, shout out to everybody here. If you want to jump on into the trading group, go to cryptolifer.com. If you want to learn the education that I give, I may not be here forever. Take advantage of it while I'm here over here. Hey. So here, we're sitting in this double bottom. We sit in this bullish engulfer. I've explained everything of why I'm long, what I'm doing, the risk I took, and the trade just sits flat. And Bitcoin is tight. I wouldn't be surprised if we're tight all the way until tomorrow. And just lack of volume and tightness. And this is called, they bore you out. They basically make price action look so boring until you can't handle it anymore. Then they pump it. So this is going to be another trying period where they're going to pull on your heartstrings. They're going to pull on your emotions. They're going to pull on your ability to stay patient. It's not going to be easy, but I've been through it a bunch of times. Let's take a look at gold, baby, gold. Gold's still tight, and it's hugging above that 200 moving average, and it's getting so tight. And I'm long. I believe gold's going to push out here when that, when the DXY falls down and this thing starts to pump. I could see gold doing some damage. We got a Bitcoin gold chart. I want to see Bitcoin versus gold. I guess we get BTC, PAXGBTC. Yeah. Wow. So like you can see gold looks like it's about, so if gold and Bitcoin pump again together, this looks like it's going to go up again. So PAXG is looking bullish against Bitcoin, folks. You see this? And I also want to look at the weekly. Wow, it's on a tear right now. It's on a massive double bottom. So it says, if the dollar dumps, see, gold will double 5,000 to 10,000 faster than Bitcoin likely might now from 60 to 120. It's crazy to say, right? Isn't that nuts? But because gold's smaller, 5,000 to 6,000 is way quicker. And so that's kind of just the denomination. It's a smaller denomination if you get enough punch. And the dollar does drop like this. So that's interesting. I mean, if you lose this, then you start to wonder, okay. But so far, this looks bullish to me. You're on the 21. You're in consolidation. You're above the 200. Even the 4-hour doesn't look too bad here. You see? So, wow. I mean, gold, this is PAXG. You could buy, this is, or just trade gold, whatever. But instead of Bitcoin, there's so many different ways to trade that idea. But man, gold looks interesting. And PAXG Bitcoin looks good. Looks like it's going to beat up on Bitcoin. Wow. I like to look at ETHBTC, something we haven't looked at in a long time. And yeah, I mean, ETH just can't seem to compete with the big boy anymore. So even if we get a big move, it looks like, Ethereum won't be the play of choice here. Let's zoom out and just double check it for a second. But yeah, I haven't looked at ETH Bitcoin in a while. It's funny. Remember when I just gave up on Ethereum? No offense. I just knew it wasn't the coin to speculate on. And we just traded Bitcoin continuously. And people would be like, how come you don't talk about ETH? I bought ETH at $89. I knew about it at $9. It was the first thing I ever flipped on Coinbase. I sold it. I sold some at $179. that summer, I turned like 1,800 into 3,600 bucks. And I was like, wow, like I made $2,000 flipping cryptocurrency on this Coinbase app, you know? Well, wow, does ETH, you know, that would mean ETH goes to zero on BTC. But it looks like it's at least going to come for a double bottom, right? And then break out. And again, April, May, and June, when it starts to round off, see this? Like, I keep getting this, like, you know, almost all projects run on ETH, yeah. My watch would please stop making my service lag, only because I'm speaking to these guys. Your service lag, I don't even know what he's saying. See, for me, there's my life, which is art. Then there's money, and there's spirit. Each of them I do, but I live what I am. Amen. I am what I am, man. Yeshua. God bless you, bro. Thank you for being here. Amazing. Follow me on X, and thank you so much. I feel like, I mean, some people say I look younger, but man, look at that foot, man. That foot is beat. But sometimes I got to let it out the air cast and let it breathe, bro. Otherwise, it stinks, bro. That's another thing about having a beat up foot. I didn't know about, like, you know what I mean? I got to wash the air cast. I got to scrub my feet. Like, there's a lot of maintenance to your toes, man. I usually just scrub my feet and take a shower. You know what I mean? But it's just like, it's different. You sweat in this boot all day. You got to take the boot off. You got to let the foot rest. It's just insanity. It really is. But again, it's teaching me patience. Dear Lord, thank you for the patience you've already taught me since the boot's been on. Stick with Sammy, Giver's Gain. God bless you, man. Thank you so much. Shout out to Crypto Billy in the house. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you so much. Okay, one more thing we want to look at is the total market cap in all of cryptocurrency. Just want to, you know, take a gander. It's likely going to follow whatever Bitcoin's doing. And for me, it's like, this has to be a slanted, inverted head and shoulder that breaks out. It just has to. Shoulder, 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 head, shoulder, shoulder, like a, you know what I mean? It's got like shoulder, 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 head, you know, a complex, slanted, drunken, inverted head and shoulder. Otherwise, it could start to turn into a descending triangle. This could dump and, right? Then you got lower lows coming your way. So your chart rating has helped me so much with my IREN trades. I've been studying the charts every single day alongside you and on my own later in the day. Dude, you're doing amazing if you're doing that. I'm so happy to hear that. Like, that means you're rock solid, bro. I tell you, what I teach you can backtest every single thing that I teach you. And you can see everything that I teach you is true and comes from years and years of data. Like, I don't just pull something out the hat and say, oh, this is what I do now, right? If I tweak and change my system, it's based off, like, just, you know, some insight that I've seen over years that's starting to come into fruition over time. You know, there's a lot of supportive resistance here. Suggest that you could get a bit of a bounce. Crazy. It does look like you could just get a movement here, though, and still end up lower. So it's like the whole world is waiting to see the March candle close. If we can get this inverted head and shoulder, it's a big deal. All right. Sammy always shows up, and that's really what got my attention. Amen. Shout out to you, man. Thank you. Thanks for showing up once again, Sammy. God bless you, the Crypto Taco. A gold's market cap would need to gain another 37 trillion. I still struggle with Pennant Wiss. I can predict Bitcoin moves pretty well, but I'm off and off by several hours. That's okay. You're not supposed to be on point on the timing. I mean, I guess I am sometimes, but you're not supposed to. Like, the timing isn't supposed to be what you're good at. Just the market structure, not getting stopped out, and being able to, you know, see the probability the best you can is what you want to be great at, in my humble opinion. Like, look at this. Like, we could have won. I thought we would have won this stream by now. This trade by now. You know, look at it, just still trucking along up $9, just sitting pretty. But we're still. The point is the structure's still intact. We're above the 200 moving average. It's not really about the fact that I didn't win the trade yet. We're still in structure. However, the longer you don't win a trade that I expect to win, the more likely it starts to lose its, you know, its pizzazz, right? And we're seeing that now too with price action. So I'm hoping to get some. Yeah. So let's take a look at IREN. And remember, the last time I looked at IREN, the guys gave me the hat and the shirt. And then I was saying, man, this thing looks pretty interesting to me. We pulled the Fibonacci from here. And you see how it bounced to the 618 golden pocket, which is a beautiful buy. And we talked about this. I actually, you know, we put this out. And I looked at IREN very closely. IREN's going to be, you know, it's positioned to data centers and AI and mining and equipment. And so IREN has like a dual-sided ability to create some gains here. It looks like it'll take its time. Again, look at this. It's going to say March, right? Look at this. Or May, June, March, April, May, June. Boom. July, August, September, you know. But bang. I wouldn't be surprised if IREN does go to 130. But it's going to take its time. You know, I'm looking at November, December. Okay. Sam, we are in a bear market, sir. We've been in a bear market for months, my friend. Yes. Yeah, I never said we weren't. I've never flipped on that because what I am, I'm a technical trader. And once Bitcoin is below the 200 moving average for more than like 20 to 30 days straight, and you're not getting like higher highs specifically too, you're just continuing to get bogged down. That's a bear market, my friend. You know, so let's take a look here. The second the daily lost the 200 moving average for a extended period of time. Like right here. And then you started to make a bear flag. Like this was like, that was confirmed bear. Shoulder, head, right shoulder. You know. Remember, we called the short right here on this right shoulder at 107.7. You'd still be in the money on that short, which is crazy. So like if you're in that short, there's no real reason yet to say that this isn't going to just continue and make another bear flag. For me, like it has to break back above 84K. It does that, then I'm like, okay. Bitcoin broke above the previous resistance. Shoulder, shoulder. What if it makes a massive inverted head and shoulder here? It just takes a long time. It breaks out somewhere in April, right? And this, I keep seeing beginning of April, end of March, until we get any type of movement. I don't know why. This could be the bottom, but it's going to take some time to figure out. And they could chop us around for a while too. Look at today. Today's a Tuesday. Look how long it's taken me to make $85. And I'm using $4,000. You know, what am I going to use $100,000 at 100x leverage to? And fine, then I'll make, you know, if I use $100,000 or like $80,000 at 100x, I'm just, you know what I mean? Fine, I could be more aggressive right now for sure, but why? I feel like I'm already aggressive enough. I could lose 350 in 2 seconds right below the. It's like, dang, how much risky can I be? I think people mismanage risk all the time. And when they make a big trade, they don't even realize how risky they really were. You know? Like 9x leverage is risky enough. That would line up with the Bitcoin pump with a new Fed chair. It's as simple as follow the normal cycle. Correlation should not equal causality, especially with all the charges that crypto has gone through. Yeah. The only one certain influencer who keep insisting we were in a bear market, even a few weeks ago. I've been saying we've been in a bear market since I don't know when, like somewhere around here. I've said we're in a bear market. November, you know what I mean? I've been just, anyone asked me, I said, this is a bear. What do you mean? Of course. You're in a sustained correction below the 200 on the daily. Bear market. Looks a lot like this, right? When we get back above the daily 200, that's when we end the bear market. It's really simple stuff, okay? And that's when we can begin to long, big longs. Until then, everything is highly, you know, unless you want to catch the exact bottom. That would, yeah, exactly, yeah. It's open or high, you're marked the top of the flags, yeah. Yep, spot on, Sammy, spot on. Hey, man, who knows? Anything is possible. Look, we're back in the gain here. They're just, look at this. Choppy, chop. So I use the 200 moving average. And as this gets further up, it will give us more protection. But now there's no way of knowing if I'm going to win or lose this trade. The odds are getting higher. I think I'm going to lose it because, like, we got no pump. Where's the pump coming from? I don't see it. Do you see it? I don't see the pump, so. Anyway, I love y'all. This has been absolutely amazing. I'm super happy to be with each and every one of you guys, and I'm blessed. This stream is actually keeping me going more than you would ever realize because, you know, I don't have to focus on my leg for the stream. Whether I was, you know, hurt my leg or not, I'd be streaming and hanging out with you all. So I just want to say thank you to everybody. I feel so blessed. You know, I wish price action could have pumped for us during the stream and showed some love, but hey, it's been literally sideways for an hour and a half now. Okay? And there's nothing else I could do. Shout out to the only one, Sam Price. I'm coming late to the live to announce the new TradFi tab on BTCC. The users ask why. Ask, we brought it. More metals, more stocks, more indices, higher leverage. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. Shout out to my man Guillermo Muck, and shout out to everyone who's trading BTCC, where you can trade gold, silver, you name it. And they got a new tab open there, a TradFi tab, which is awesome. All right. And yeah, we want to see that dollar dump this week into 2 weeks from now. And we want to see our gold and silver, our oil trades, anything based in the US dollar pumping to the upside here. Getting a major move. A major move. Man, what a day it is to be alive. There's going to be more opportunity today, some way, somehow. I don't know how, but it's out there. It is. And only time will tell, folks. I see a little pullback in oil back to the bottom of the trend. Right? But it looks good to me, man. This thing looks like it's about to launch. That dollar's going to drop. Oil's going to go back up in price. You see? I could be wrong, but that's what I'm speculating on like the last flag. And then boom, that trade for oil. So I like a DCA into an oil trade right now. And it's overbought though right there on the what price actually. Yeah, 4-hour time frame needs to come down a little bit. This would make more sense. Like come back down to the trend, give an entry at like 63 and a move to $70 a barrel. All right. Anyway, that's what I see happening today, everybody. Stay focused, stay amazing. I attempted a live trade for you guys. Wanted to see it hit the gains. We'll see what happens. I'll check back into the trading group throughout the day. We might go sideways all the way until the news tomorrow because we have a lot of data tomorrow that's going to move the market. We have average hourly earnings, non-farm, and unemployment rate. That's all coming in at 8:30 tomorrow. I could see people looking at that right now and like, man, I ain't trading that till tomorrow. You know what I mean? So I think it could definitely affect the market right now. And that's what I think. That's what I'm speculating is kind of making the market move so slow and not giving us much action. And then Bookmap suggesting we're going to 65,000 no matter what, too. It's strong on that idea. This is usually somewhat right. And then all the liquidity down here is way stronger, all the way to 50K. And that could be that descending triangle. So we're not out the water yet, folks. Don't believe everyone that says we definitely bottomed at 60,000. I don't know what's going to happen. We did call the bottom when we sold it already at a local top. And now we're going from there. Like, let me just make this clear. If you were in my trading group, if you watched me, if you took any of my strategies, tips, or tricks, like we called the bottom here. And not even, we just took probability. Like when this candle was about to close, we front ran it. And I took money into these pumps. And now we're going to see if this can actually get back to the upside here, or it's going to continue to play games. And I've told you all I could about this smaller price action and the smaller time frame, right? So, and I've shown you both the bullish and bearish scenarios. And then I also showed you what I'm doing regardless of what I see. So, not much else we could do. And then we showed you a few altcoins that looked okay compared to the rest of the market. And we go from there. Some days it's the best day just to, sit on your hands and stack liquidity. And just not blow money in places where the market isn't amazing. So that's hard for a lot of people to do. Doing nothing is a skill. Everybody, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. You can find out when I post my next video. Remember, if you came to the channel, then you're already doing the right thing. Remember, crypto is life. And every single day we keep pushing. There's going to be so much opportunity coming our way. We got to believe it. We got to be ready for it. And it may be few and far between, so we really have to be ready for it, right? Like opportunity, people say you're lucky, but that's just preparation meets opportunity. And sometimes opportunity is less than it used to be. We got to be really prepared. And so that's why I highly advise you get an education when it comes to technical analysis and you don't just throw your money blindly into the charts. All right? Remember, you're not going to be great to start, but you got to start to be great. I love you. Thank you so much. The secret to success is getting started. I'll see you tomorrow.